Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're not digging today, or at least yet. We're gonna kind of do a little test today. And I think you'll like it. I know I'm gonna like it. I've got a kit here from a company called Sierra Blaster. And they're basically a little charge. Gets set off by this head. You can connect a bunch of these together. I actually have the kit that has three different heads. You can fire 1, 2, or 3 of them all at the same time. And so here's what's this right here. It says explosive on it. I don't know. It's very small. It doesn't look like much. And how this works is these things come in this sleeve, and it's basically to protect the wiring. The wiring runs, it's down in the ground, the charge is. The wiring runs up this channel and connects to here, this plug. Then your plug starts getting into all your other cords for you to get backed away from it. And if you'd like to, you can use one charge, and then they also sell these boosters. So you can put 2 boosters in here if you'd like to. 2 boosters and your regular charge, and that's the most power that these things will activate. They're electrically activated. That's why we've got the generator here. It plugs into a 110 outlet. And then you just set it off with this. Now we got a bunch of drill bits. We got a hammer drill. And we're gonna try this and see if it works. And the reason why we're doing this is because, as you can see, most of these rocks, I don't know what you call these things, but they're very layered. And as soon as you grab a hold of them with like the excavator, they kind of tear in little pieces. Now you can see some of these are, this would be, if you drop this on the ground, these things fracture and they end up in smaller sections like this. So some of them are pretty big. You can usually manage them, but there are sections of rock here that are way more solid. And the only thing we found that we could use was like a breaker on an excavator. And we've tried that here, and there's a few rocks that we've dealt with that the breaker doesn't even hardly go into them. It's very hard to find some of the edges, so they're hard to deal with. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to pick a couple of rocks down here and just do some testing. So we want to be familiar with the system. So when we run up against it, we're not fumbling around. We just go down here, blast them, and then pick them out with the excavator. So we got to drill the boreholes with concrete bits. And then we start setting the system up. And what we're probably going to do right off the rip is we're just going to put all 3 heads in, and we're going to try it and see what happens. To make this easier for us to film, the first thing we're going to do, we need to be able to manage this in a way that's safe for us. So we're going to start on this big flat section. Is the reason why we came down here and dug the other day. We knew there was a pretty big rock right here. We're going to go ahead and dig this out a little bit so we can see what the rock is. We're going to set all of our stuff up right in this big flat surface, try it and see what happens, and then we're going to go down and we're going to hit a couple of rocks down there that are big in the bank that we need to get out, and we'll see what happens with that. All right, so Zach is working on drilling one of these holes right now. And what he's doing is we're actually stepping the sizes of the drill bits from shorter to longer. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're not overworking the drill bits. If you just did this with one bit, it would overheat the bit. So stepping the bits gives them time to work and then cool down. So we've got one done right here, and I'm getting ready to blow some of the dust out of it. So there's nothing that's compressible in there. If there's nothing compressible, then it's going to fracture the rock better. Now I've got that cleaned out real good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little rock, set it on the hole so I don't kick a bunch of dust in it. Zach's going to start putting water in the hole. That sounded funny.
Yeah.
Man, there's not a lot of room in there, is there?
No.
All right.
Booster.
Now, just so you guys can see what the end of this looks like, and it's got a slot that runs up it. The main charge has a hole in the bottom of it. So what you do is you slide this on that little nub on the bottom, and then you run the wiring straight up through that little slot, just like that. It'll kind of press right in there. Just like that. You'll slide the wires around in that ring. And I'm going to leave them in there just like that. I'm not going to connect them yet. I'm sure you probably can. I'm just not going to. Now we're going to use this to push the booster charges down in the hole. Now Zach's going to go ahead and connect them wires. One per side, polarity doesn't matter. The more force and pressure you can keep within that rock, the more it's going to actually fracture the rock. So these things are meant to be have some weight placed on them. Now they make different blast heads. They make some that are all aluminum. So if you need to backpack them into somewhere that you're working remotely, you can do that. But we got the heavy steel heads, but we're still putting rocks on them. So we can keep as much of that blast pressure inside the rock as possible. So now we're going to start connecting this stuff together. And drag it over here as far as you can. Yep, we'll plug this one into here like so. And then we're going to daisy chain this one right into the back of that other one. Yep. Now they do tell you that you can refill these with water just to make sure they're full on top, but whatever water pushed out, it seemed to me like it went right back in the hole anyway. So that doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to have Zach connect whichever end. Oh no, it's this guy right there. Yeah. That thing should snap in there.
Oh, okay, there we go. There it is.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to have Zach grab that cup of water, and I'm going to have him recheck all of the electrical connections now while I'm standing here, and we're going to walk up here together.
Good. Good. Good.
All right, Zach, hold the end of that cord real quick, so when I start up here to make sure we're not going to pull that out.
Yank stuff out of other stuff.
Yep. right, that should be it.
Are you ready? Contact. Cool. Switch works.
Okay, ready? Yeah. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so everybody saw that was very anticlimactic. I knew that rocks weren't going to go flying. What I hoped was to happen, and we set these in different areas to just so we could see ourselves what happened. We had a couple of them fairly close to an edge, and one of them way away from an edge. And this rock is 100% encapsulated by dirt and rock, so we knew that it wasn't going to do much. What we hope happens is that when we come down here and start digging away at this rock, internally, it did something to it to where it's easier for us to manage getting it. So we really won't know until we start digging what it's going to do, but it certainly didn't. I mean, I don't see any cracks in anything, so I don't know if it really did anything at all. I'll pick that out of there, Zach, and let's see. Yeah, well, I'm sure that's expanded, so it's probably not going to come out of that hole. So, I mean, clearly, if something happened there, it wasn't enough to show us anything. I don't know if there's something going on here that we can't see, but there, you know, like I said, we don't know. What we're going to do now is we're going to go down the driveway a little bit. Now that we kind of understand what we're doing, we know that it works. We know that our process is okay. There's some big ridges around here with rocks. We're going to go down here with shovels. We're going to dig that up a little bit, and we're going to place these things close to an edge. And maybe, I don't know, maybe a foot away from the edge or something. And we'll try that, see what happens.
Maybe not so deep. Maybe we won't drill the hole so deep.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can do 3 different depths.
Yeah. Yeah. Do the minimum depth at like 6 or.
Yeah, we'll put both the charge and plus 2 boosters.
Right, whatever the.
And maybe we won't put them so deep so it has more chance to fracture it. We'll see. Test number 2, we got all set up. Holes are drilled, charges are in it, the blast heads are in it, all the wiring's on it. All right, we got the blast heads out. We're putting stuff away. You guys saw the blast right here. And basically, it looks like we've done more damage with a hammer drill than those things could do. So I would say that was well, in my mind, it's a massive failure. It didn't do anything as far as I can tell. Now, when we come down here and start digging, my mind might be changed. But I don't even see so much as a crack in this rock anywhere near these holes. I hope I get proved wrong at some point when we get down here. But my initial findings are that this does not work for my application. The best thing that we've used down here so far, well, the only other thing we've used down here is an excavator bucket and a hydraulic breaker. And those two things work exponentially better than this stuff. So this, we may end up retrying this in the future once we get down here. But yeah, not gonna work for us for our rocks. We're sort of going into kind of like just a phase 2 of us blasting. Same day, we're here at the same day, but we're gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna take the dozer down, push some stuff around. One of my main goals was to actually move a bunch of stuff over here because I got stuff I gotta clear some of this land and clear a pad. But just for today, just for my own peace of mind, we're gonna go down to the driveway. We probably wasted about, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 hours messing with that Sierra Blast stuff. And we're just gonna try something different till, you know, for the rest of the day. But right now we're gonna go ahead and tighten these tracks on the dozer just a little bit. I don't think they're bad, but they were sagging a little bit. So I've never done this before, so at least I'm gonna try it and see where we get. So you can see the tracks kind of laying down. And basically there's a grease fitting right here. It fills this up with grease. And this sticks into like a post back here and it fills this up with grease and pushes the wheel forward. The wheel slides on this rail right here, slides back and forth on that rail. You can see where it's built up right here to here where that thing rides on, and you can just grease it, fills it with grease. And very slowly, it moves that wheel forward and the track will tighten. Now this would be the point where you go ahead and it runs out of grease right now. Oh, it's definitely moving. That's good, Zach. All right. One more thing I learned how to do today. I heard about it on the internet. You could tighten these tracks. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is we'll check the oil. We'll check the coolant because last time we had this thing running was when we just put coolant in it. Oil's absolutely perfect, super clean.
Got a couple sticks in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of sticks all over this thing. I'm pushing a lot of sticks. Look at this.
About as far down as you said it was from when we filled it the other day.
Okay, so it's been warmed up and cooled back down. So obviously that was fine. One thing I did notice in my last video when I was watching the video was that bolt right there was part way out. I forgot to tighten it, and now it's, well, all the way out. It's all right. So what we got to do now is I was over there, way over there, all the way back here and in here. So now we got to go find that bolt. Maybe we'll just buy one at the Ace next time we're at the hardware store. Maybe we'll just get one there.
We could get a metal detector to find it, but it'd be cheaper just to buy a new bolt.
Probably. I would like to have a metal detector.
That'd be cool.
It's one thing I've always kind of wanted to do, but as you can see, I'm too busy doing this crap. So, all right, let's go down the driveway and see what happens here. right, so as you will see, we've been digging around a little bit, pushing on top of the rocks basically with the dozer to see kind of what I can get broken free, picking at the bank a little bit. There is a huge rock right here that I'm on top of. Now what I'm gonna try to do is, before we go home, I'm gonna shove a little bit more of this stuff down here, which what you see there is not dirt. It's it's solid rock. So I really don't have much to push, but I'll probably push something down here and maybe help this out right here. And then I'm gonna shove this down. I've made a little pile right here. I'm gonna shove this down and maybe make a little bench here for so we can get the excavator on. So maybe we can pick away at those rocks. But our main goal really is this. The rock I'm standing on is the one we're gonna try and pick apart. This is the rock right here that we actually that we tried to blast this morning. It's right here. So you can see how much of it we filled in around it. But this rock, it's huge. This whole thing is one big rock. Just like, that's what we're picking off of it, stuff like that. All right, so what we've decided to do here is Zach's gonna actually pull the truck up, and I'm gonna back up 15 feet. I'm gonna grab some actual dirt, shove it down here so I can fill this in a little bit, just so he's got a little bit easier of a transition. He can get down here, no problem, but I just want to try to make this a little easier transition for him. So when we're, eventually, when Zach gets to digging out here, what'll happen is, oh, I'm stuck. What'll happen is that as he digs, I'll come down here and just get everything a push down, and he can get back out and start digging again. Feel pretty good about that. We got Zach a nice little platform out there. He can go out there and start picking around and see what we can come up with. It seems like we dig a bunch of stuff up and then we just fill it back in, but I don't know, that's our way. I don't know if it's right or not, but looks pretty good to me. That's it for today, guys. We had a major failure with our blast deal. Didn't work. Honestly, for me, I kind of feel like that's like, maybe if you're in a situation where, listen, a lot of guys that have these little mini gold claims that they can't get equipment into, they drive down these roads out west that are might be 20 miles to get back into where they need to be, and it's not reasonable for them to have some kind of a piece of equipment in there, or I don't know, but that didn't work for me. That to me was a novelty, so that didn't work. Now, what did work? That worked. That works. But that's my situation. So We did end up taking the dozer down there today, and I feel like we made some pretty good progress. Honestly, I'm not supposed to be down there working on that driveway. It was not really how I had my tasks planned here. But that's where we really want to work. Like, we want to get on the equipment and go down there and work. And it's hard to stay away from that because it's such a huge project and it's really what we want to do. So it's just difficult to not go down there and work. So I'm going to go home tonight and I'm going to regroup, and we'll see what we end up doing tomorrow. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Now listen, I want to make sure y'all are back here in a couple days. Always get a new video up every 2 or 3 days. So for all your substandard YouTube content, I'm your guy. Come on back here and watch a couple guys that have no idea what they're doing, and they're doing a bunch of stuff they shouldn't be doing. Right here.